न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां बिभ्राजते दत्यदयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था सन्न्यासयोगाद्यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दग्धं विपापं परमेश्वभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यसर्गस्थम् तत्रापि दग्धं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादो स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदाङ्गे च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परस्य महेश्वरः.
Which you want to be answered? What were those things that you were hoping to find while embarking on this journey?
I always wanted to know what is the truth of life. Very often we do not know what it is, but we just hear there's truth. But I wanted to know something that would satisfy me and would give me that sense of fulfillment. That's a vague thing in your mind. But I wanted a knowledge that would satisfy, that would fulfill me. That was my quest from childhood. That was inborn. So when I met Pujya Swami Swaroopananda, it was, just a feeling of, and many of you have heard it, was just a sense of, wow, there's such a knowledge, traces of it we've been brought up with, and such a knowledge exists in our Indian knowledge system, philosophically, religiously, spiritually, scientifically, such is available for us. And we remain in constant darkness, our minds still colonized, that we generally think that everything that is Indian is a myth and everything West is historical.
What were the biggest challenges that spoken?
The person who served the people literally 20 hours a day. And the remaining 4 hours also when he went to his room, like writing letters or something, that here is the person who every day of his life just served the people. We could see it, we saw it visibly. There was no pretenders, there was no propaganda. No? And that's what inspired me. And I joined the ashram to study Vedanta in depth. And my only goal of that was that it's because he went round the world taking this knowledge, that could be just a little part in that seva. I think it would be real fulfillment of life.
You serve, when you say serve, there's so many aspects of that. You have lectures, you go to some people. What is the part that you enjoy most? Because it's such a multifaceted role that you do.
The part I enjoy the most is to see people transform, to see people happy, to see people, attaining their goals. And that's been the fulfillment. And as I started off from Hong Kong, and many of you were my Balbihar children, and as I've seen you grow up, yes, you've gone through the turmoils of life, the changes of life, the challenges of life, but in each situation is how, with this knowledge, with this upbringing, how we have been able to face life situations gracefully, be productive, and become positive contributors of society. And that's the greatest joy. Just like for parents to see their children grow. And I see my Balbihar children, especially in Hong Kong, and anywhere I meet them around the world, and if anybody says, Krishna, Krishna, I know they are my Balbihar children.
Absolutely. So as you've evolved, so has the mission. There's now schools. I know you're opening a university. Can you tell us a bit more about, what you feel its core purpose is today?
The core purpose of the mission is Gurudev's vision, which is not even his own individual vision, it is the vision of our great grand rishis. We've got a rich knowledge on how to develop ourselves, how we make our life purposeful, meaningful, productive, sharing, and how with our individual transformation, each one works for world transformation. And mission continues in whichever way. Our education system is that you give the modern education which is required for profession, etc., whether it's in our school, colleges, in our university, but enriched with what we require most in our life, and that is value-based education. If we have our rural development programs, it's creating self-help groups by which, and it's wonderful to see how the women in our rural, most remote rural villages, what they are doing, what they are achieving, they put this IIT educated CEOs to shame. You have to come there and see that. So, every aspect of Gurudev's vision is for our individual, social, national, and world development. And little do we realize that how each one of us, as we transform our lives, we are transforming the world. And that has been his vision. And that vision is not just giving education. It's not just teaching management. It's not just creating a population of people, but creating people who are positive contributors to society.
And so much of that is actually working with the next generation, because it's all about paying it forward and grooming the next generation. And I'm curious, what you think are the biggest issues facing the next generation today? What have you encountered?
See, every generation faces some issue or the other. At the moment, wars are not unusual. We've had some major world wars, after which we all had a life to live. There's been the Cold War, there's been wars, there's wars going on even now. We faced a pandemic like never before, but we've sailed through all that, right? At the moment, the greatest fear that I see, especially amongst the youth, and whenever I've gone to university addressing the youth, is, and they have themselves realized, people worry about AI, etc., which is artificial intelligence, etc., which is also part of their worry. But I was in Africa, and when I was addressing the university youngsters there, even the young men were in tears. The uncertainties that they face, the lack of confidence that they have, as much as people show off, but the self-esteem that they have. And they also realize this, which we today in India need to take for granted, that family units have collapsed. They have no cultural upbringing. Even though every human being understands that it is finally the values, positive values, attitudes, behavior that you have that builds your relationship, whether in the commercial world, in your career, in your family. However, they have realized that the family units have broken down. They don't have any culture. How are they going to live a life free of stress, free of anxiety? It's easy to give them, every professor, whenever they call us to the university, whether it is the top universities in America or in Africa, first thing they want to talk about is tell these youngsters not to be stressed. The question is, how? So, it's not just the economic imbalance that was always there. It is not so much the insecurity of jobs because of artificial intelligence. As you know, as technology increases, we find new methods of gaining income. So, it's not that. It's the complete cultural fabric of society which is beginning to collapse. You'll be surprised that how Arjuna speaks of it 5,000 years ago, the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, and what happens when family units break up, when culture is lost, the value systems decline, that even a highly educated Arjuna mentally collapses. And that knowledge, which is the very basis of our human existence, our social interactions, and that can thrive only where there is a culture, and culture creates the atmosphere in the family for us to grow as value-based citizens of the world.
So how do we ingrain this culture in the next generation? I mean, there are a lot of parents in this room. I mean, I had Balbahar, so I was lucky, but how do modern parents today create thoughtful and meaningful human beings?
They must understand the importance of it. Balbahar is available even now for your children and your grandchildren. Give them the best. They are your children. Give them wealth, give them gadgets, whatever you want to give them. Send them to the best institutions that you think for education. But do not forget that from the time they are toddlers, they require to be brought up in a cultural atmosphere, which is not happening from a long time. Only in the family, and therefore, again, Pujya Swami Swaroopananda's vision, and the mission continues to work, is that at every stage of our life, we create a gathering of like-minded people, like-minded parents, so that the children have the right peers to grow together. So it's very important they do what their peers do. The right peers to grow together. And if you give them that cultural upbringing, and please give them anything, but don't let them miss their Balbahar, their Yuva Kendra. Do that, we never know. They'll never know what they missed out. So, it's available every time.
But I do think the younger generation asks a lot of questions, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions between what is religion and what is spirituality. How are they connected if they are in your mind? How do you explain them to a young person today?
See, with what is being propagated as religion, it is not now youngsters. 40 years ago when I was a youngster, I asked the same question when I was interviewing one sadhvi who had come, woman monk who had come here. She spoke Hindi, so that's why, anyway, as you know, radio program. So I was told to, interview her in Hindi. So I asked questions that youngsters had even at that time, even though we were inclined spiritually. You were already in the Yuva Kendra studying the Bhagavad Gita. But I asked this woman, and the question was in Hindi, it's in fact is in Hindi. I'll repeat it in English. So many of you at least know that much. Hindi. I said, and generally we translate, unfortunately, such a vast meaning word dharma as religion. Huh? So I said, आप लोग ये धर्म फैलाते रहते हैं, but धर्म के कारण ही तो सब लड़ाइयाँ चल रही है. That you people go and spread all this religion, but all these wars are going on in the name of religion. And she replied so beautifully in Hindi. She said, बेटा, लोग धर्म को मानते हैं, धर्म की नहीं मानते. People follow a religion, people follow a person, but they do not follow what is the knowledge, the advice, the instructions of the scriptures and the people of knowledge. Yeah? So, number one, what we see in the name of religion, and majority of the people are not interested in knowing themselves, developing themselves. Even God is just a convenience to get something very cheaply. You light one candle and you'll get a promotion. You break a coconut and you will pass an examination. Yeah. You do some prayers and your competitor will die. This is what goes on. Such religion of convenience, there will be compromises, there will be also practices, and therefore, in a land of free thinking like India, we never had a last Messiah or a prophet. Every generation, we've had thinkers, social reformists, both men and women, saints and sages, monks and married people who have, through their free thinking, rediscovered the very essence of spirituality and reintroduced practices at that time with right meaning, which then becomes some practices that people call as religion.
Well, this was going to be my next question, because in Hong Kong, we've all lived here for many years, but I feel the expat Indian community, you hold on to your rituals because that's something that is very strong. But why are a lot of the rituals we do? We don't understand the meaning of them. I always ask my grandmother, why are you doing this? I don't understand why. Why are rituals so fundamental still today? Why are they important?
See, first of all, what do you call as a ritual?
Well, breaking the coconut to get a promotion.
Okay. Why do you brush your teeth every day? What you do regularly, punctually, is called as a ritual. Get up and tell your husband, I love you, that's a ritual.
Sure.
Yeah. Nowadays you ask, why do you even say it? Because you don't love. It becomes a meaningless ritual. Right? So, ritual is not worship. Unfortunately, that's what you're saying. Oh, Hindu religion is ritualistic. It's not ritualistic. You should make your worship into a ritual that you practice daily.
So discipline is important.
Discipline and daily practice makes it a ritual. And ritual is necessary because if you do not come into your office and sign the attendance, you know what will happen, right? So, daily practice makes it into a ritual. Now, tell me, every day you are told to take a certain pill, because most of you must be on some pill right now, for the heart or the blood pressure. Yeah? Tell me, How many of you even you recheck with the doctor that you need it still or not? How many of you know what is the constitution of that medication? How it affects you? You just see your blood pressure comes down, it works for you, you take that medication. Is it not? Yeah. Really speaking, everything that you do is only out of belief to the doctor. Okay, tell me about your trends about diets. One day quinoa is good. One day olive oil is good. Yeah. One day ghee is bad. One day sugar is bad. Right? Tell me. Many of you do it and even inquire, because inquirers in the world are very few. They are the ones who become the achievers. They are the ones who become the saints and sages on spiritual path. Right? Remaining. Now, why do people do also asanas? Tell me. I'm very spiritual. Yeah. I do breathing and I do asana. What is that to do with spirituality? Tell me. Yoga was meant for spirituality. Yoga today, I said yoga. Yoga today is not spiritual. You get the point? Why do you do it? To slim down. Which is not bad, it's useful. Right? So even religious gatherings, people don't know what they are doing, at least it brings them together. It has got some benefit. Just as yoga has got some benefit, even though it is practiced blindly, even though it's not practiced for the right purpose for which it was designed, its byproducts itself are so good, then why don't we practice it? The same way, if these practices brings about faith in their heart, which is a very important part of life, why not? But when we practice it without knowing its benefits that can be, just as if you know through the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, what is the use of yoga, what is the purpose of yoga, and work towards achieving those higher goals. What is the purpose of fasting? It definitely gives you good health. Intermittent fasting also is brought up from Ekadashi fast. But that's a ritual. Why do we practice it? It's religion. And then when somebody takes it to the West and with the principal understanding of intermittent fasting, just because it comes from the West and is packaged very expensively, gosh, garments made in India with American labels. Now, that's something that we will definitely carry. So, who's ritualistic? The religious or the trendy?
That's a good point. Well, this is another controversial question. I mean, a lot of people today would say that religion causes a lot of strife. I mean, people, start wars on the basis of religion. People use it to divide rather than to bring together. So in that case, what is the reasoning for having religion today? Why is it important to society?
If people are misusing something, it is not the fault of something good. Now tell me, I'll give examples from your day-to-day life. What is that diabetic medicine everybody's taking for slimming down? Semlink. Yeah. Right. Now, it was meant for what? It was meant for controlling excessive diabetes, etc. That was the purpose for which it was made. Its side effects were that you started losing weight. Now, the whole world and its patent is over, royalty is over. Now it's going to come very cheap. And if everybody starts taking this drug, already you can see the havoc. Yeah. Now, if without proper guidance, even to slim down, even to keep your sugar under control, without a proper doctor's guidance, and which doctor is not here only to prescribe medicines and make money out of you? Vulnerable people. It's not in the field of medicine that it's being misused. Is not politics misusing? Yeah. The wars are not because of religion. It's because of the people's vanity. Please understand, religion is misused, even abused. Right? And if anything that teaches you to hate another person cannot be a religion, please don't call it a religion. Yeah? But in the name of religion, people hate. Does the religion teach you to hate? The fundamental of every religion that you call as a religion is love. And if love is not there in the religion and only causes hatred, what is to be given up is the hatred and the religion that causes hatred. So that is something you must be very clear of.
So there's so much noise in today's world. You've got media, social media. I mean, you're just hearing so many different opinions all the time. How can you advise people to live a more peaceful life when there is so much noise around us? And you don't need to meditate or breathe.
Choose your media. Like listen to this kind of interviews.
It's being nice to me.
Okay. Choose your media. In life, when we are growing up, choose your television program. You can't stop it. Right? Choose your company. Even in the worst of places, you can get the best of company. See, a place like Hong Kong, everybody go around the world, they think Hong Kong is just a plain place with only parties and only money and money talk and everything. But we know we live in Hong Kong, is it not? I don't know what anybody might say. For me, this is the place where I met my Guru. This is the place where I grew spiritually. This is the place where I have had the best of valued friends. No? So in the so-called worst of places that people think, you can get the best. And in the best of places, depends on your mindset, you can pick up the worst. I never underestimated. And I tell you, till today, one of my best places where I felt great sense of fulfillment in people's interest, enthusiasm, whether in children or youth. Even though it depends on you how you inspire people, but it is in places like Hong Kong and Lagos, which everybody talks about as a highly materialistic place, like Hanuman, who found a Vibhishan even in Lanka. I found many of you here in the Lanka of Hong Kong. So, I don't think any place is bad. Take from anything what our wisdom teaches us, Indian wisdom teaches us, that even in the worst of person, there is a ray of goodness. And don't be disappointed, even in those who are predominantly good, there could be some imperfections. You focus on the good and pick up the good. And therefore, if any religion, we should have common sense that teaches you to hate, kill, plunder. Meaningless. It's not a religion. Don't let anybody fool you. Right? And therefore, I know which is very rare, use our common sense.
Easier said than done. You mentioned Hong Kong. I'm curious because Hong Kong is a very special place in your heart, and you come and visit, you start a family here. What are your thoughts on Hong Kong today? I know it's changed a lot. It's kind of going through a kind of new balance, new order. What do you think the big challenges for our community here in Hong Kong moving forward?
One thing I've noticed, nothing is a challenge for Hong Kong people to overcome.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying as words of flattery. Remember, we went through that 1983, when handover was announced. I was here. 1 year business was at a standstill. Completely standstill, those of you might remember. We got out of that and made Hong Kong boom. Not only the resilient Chinese community, but the Indian community here also, that have been financially or economically achievers. Did we not? I think that was the worst time I was here at that time. But that's the quality of Hong Kong people, or people who live in Hong Kong. They have a great sense of resilience. Yeah. They have a great daring spirit to adventure into new things. Yesterday only some of the youngsters were asking me about now work challenges. They are struggling to find jobs. I said, that's the beauty of the community in Hong Kong. That when ships used to come, you have all the shops on Cameron Road and Central. All the Sindhi shops, tailoring shops. Yeah. When the soldiers stopped coming, you started mail orders. Yeah. When mail orders stopped, you became the broker between China and the world. When opportunities opened up in China, you started direct business with the world through China. Now I know people are going directly to China and you are being made redundant. But then, your India is from Hong Kong. You will find something new to do. And keep that culture. This is also part of cultural upbringing. You send them to learn jobs. Let them learn because the markets are changing. But do not give up your language, do not give up your culture. You might think it's a very materialistic business families. But materialism is not bad. The world is sustained by the sharing that you all do with your wealth. And to produce wealth is not something that is wrong. It is something that if you share is what sustains the world. That's what we call as Mother Lakshmi. So, people of Hong Kong have never worried. Because they have it in them. And that's why people ask me sometimes, Swamiji, you're running such a huge institution with so many hundreds of institutions. Don't you get stressed or don't you get worried? First of all, I've had such a great master like Pujya Gurudev with a knowledge of Vedanta. But at the same time, I must say, I do have a little spirit of Hong Kong.
Of course, the candid spirit is amazing, and we're very much driven by being successful or ambitious. But with that also comes, things like challenges like family and ego. Especially the younger generation, they don't want to make money big and be successful. How can they achieve that while keeping their ego in check?
Join my Make It Happen course. I will teach you how to attain success that you cannot imagine that you can achieve. Everybody wants to, but even our want is limited. By finding a greater sense of purpose. And if you have that, not only your gain is great, but what you make use of it with your life brings about greatness to you. That is the knowledge of Vedanta, that is the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita.
We talk about the word purpose all the time. What does it mean and why is it so important?
See, there's nothing you do without a purpose. You know, when people tell me, oh, everybody tells find a purpose, I don't have any purpose. Yeah. Most people nowadays, their purpose is to find no purpose. Yeah. They want to just drift. So, there's nothing you do without a purpose. It's just that you might think that purpose is not noble, that purpose is not clear to you. But everything we do is with a purpose. And our common purpose for each one of us, that each one of us, whatever we do, you marry for happiness. You divorce also for? Somebody just said happier. We do everything for happiness. Let us be clear about that. You want God also what to be miserable? Because it guarantees you happiness. Spirituality also. Religion also. Atheism also. Why do we do any such thing? First and foremost, we want to be happy. And if after doing whatever we have done, we are not any happier than what we were, which means we just need to recheck that what we are doing, are we clear about the purpose. If you are getting married to be happy, which of course you are, how can you be happy if your spouse is not happy? Can you? How can you be happy when your family members are not happy? If you are clear about your purpose, you know your goal also. That if your goal is to make the members of your family happy, then your purpose of gaining happiness will also be fulfilled. If you want yourself to be prosperous, but if your country is also prosperous, your chances of being prosperous are good. So, if you understand this spirit, that I can get happiness when I give happiness to others. My wealth will multiply when I share my wealth with others. I don't like using the word others, because in Vedanta, you're doing nothing for anybody else. You're doing for the self. There's a self in you, there's a self in everyone. And simple philosophy which comes from the Upanishads, then the Mahabharata, and then of course popularized also through different religions. Then do to others what you want for yourself. Simple philosophy of life.
So I'm curious, because you mentioned AI earlier. In the world of AI, why are gurus even important anymore today? Why do we still need to have gurus in our lives? We grew up with them, we've been amazing, but for the next generation?
That's the whole question when we are asking why guru is necessary. Youngsters are asking, why are we necessary? AI makes all of you redundant. Is it not? That's why we are thinking, why do we need God? We have now created everything, but out of what? Have you created the sun? Have you created the fuel? Have you created the fertility? Right? Now remember, AI, artificial intelligence, has been created by human intelligence. Now it's up to you that you make yourself redundant by becoming a slave to your technology like you have become for your mobile phones. And like I spoke yesterday, allow your mind to deteriorate or find ways by which what AI cannot do, you can do. Use AI. The technology is there, you're not going to be not using it. Same thing I'm telling people that today everything is available online. But personal sharing of emotions, vibrations, presence can happen only when whatever you attend in person. Okay? Advantage is that those who can't be in person, they can hear. But don't make it your convenience. If you make AI your convenience, yes, you are redundant. Why talk about people? You are redundant. Therefore, be like God. Yeah? It's giving you everything to build your life. Yeah? But you still need it. Don't make yourself that useless. That's all. Make yourself useful.
So I'm going to make myself useless now and ask any of you, open up to the floor to see if anybody has any questions for Swamiji. It's very rare that we get to have him to answer questions. So just, don't be shy, it's okay. He's been very playful with me, he's not going to bite. So if anybody has any questions, please raise your hands. We believe it to be controversial. And yep, okay. All right, Swamiji, I then have another question for you. What continues to inspire you after so many years of teaching?
Pujya Gurudev, his love, his knowledge, his work. So Vedanta inspires me moment to moment.
Indeed, that was what I'm describing, isn't it?
Yes, right.
What is your favorite quote or passage or story from that you can share with us today?
Actually, something that I want to request all of you. Give you a very, very powerful tool. When I was visiting some of the top universities of the world, because as you know, we have now our own Chinmaya University offering the best courses that we can in the contemporary knowledge system and at the same time reviving. Please don't understand Indian knowledge system is limited only to spiritual knowledge. That too also, which we like anything in India which is spiritual, be religious. So when I was going from university to university, trying to see the best practices, it came to my attention that professors were telling me that we are facing mental health issues, maximum addictions, maximum depression, yeah? Anxiety, stress, neurosis, suicides. And all of them, as usual, look towards the East, look towards India to find solutions, whether through yoga, through meditation. Yeah? But they know that Indians also will not follow if you say that it's yoga or meditation. You have to westernize it, mindfulness. Yeah. Now even consciousness has become now a Western concept which they know nothing about, which has been the matter of discussion, thousands of years of research in India. which is the very basis of our self-knowledge, that is Vedanta. So they were asking me, can you teach us meditation or make a course on meditation, or does your university make a course on meditation? I said, on the contrary, no. I want applied knowledge. For meditation, they can come to an ashram. In the university, we teach them meditation, but we want to teach them that knowledge that will be integrated with their management techniques. We have that knowledge in India. We want them to use that knowledge for cosmology, which Carl Sagan did it. Some of you must have watched the TV series Cosmos, if you are interested in watching on television. When we were growing up, not just Danny Terrio's Dance Fever, and Young and, not Young and Useless, Young and Restless. Right? There's a beautiful team, Cosmos, that Carl Sagan, a modern cosmologist, who derived most of his inspiration from ancient cultures, and his greatest inspiration on time concept of yugas, etc., are all from the Indian systems of knowledge. So they come to us, are you teaching this? So I said, yes, psychology we have managed to integrate, and management we have managed to integrate. So they were saying that how are we going to solve this problem amongst the youngsters, students? I said, see, you can teach them meditation, but it only becomes another instrument of agitation and lack of confidence. The basis of your human relationships is based on values and ethics. You wiped it out from schools, you wiped it out from college. And until and unless you give them those positive values, which helps them to face the uncertainties of life, don't find the parallel solutions. You have to get to the cause of the problem. Relationships are not working because not that people don't meditate. Relationships are not working because people have stopped. You know what? Stop sharing. Until and unless these basic human values are not taught in the family, and if education system does not teach it, they say, no, if we say values at immediately, they will ask us which religious values. I said, what has values to do with any religion? And is not religion meant to teach you values? See how our framework of mind has got so distorted. And that too also through our education system. And those who have been educated in the education system are educating people. What do you expect? But here there are some genuine professors who wanted to make a difference. I said, at least I knew that when I was growing up in medicine, at least we were taught to take the Hippocrates oath. Some ethics were taught. I was told that even that has been removed in the name of so-called freedom. So which means doctors also do not have any ethics anymore. So in case you get a lot of side effects. Yeah. You don't get to the basis of it. And what was shocking to me was, as much as they are trying to be inclusive, one of the ex-president had come to one of the top universities where you send your children and you want to send your children. And he said, you all come from diverse cultures, each one of you come and read a passage from your scriptures or religious book or prayer, etc. Not one Hindu Indian went up to chant one shloka. I know there was no Bharatiya student there, obviously. Or even if there were, how ashamed are they? Yeah. Even those of you who studied the Bhagavad Gita, can you recite one verse of the Bhagavad Gita? The whole world, including the academic world, admires it as one of the highest knowledge books of self-development, not a religious book. They have told me in the university, thanks to the religious world that kept it alive. But don't brush it off as religion. You are limiting your Indian knowledge systems, including Mahabharata and Ramayana. This is Columbia University saying it. Western professors. Therefore, in this 75th year of Chinmaya Mission, one thing that we may come from any religious background, even in India, I'm telling you, even today, those who win our Gita chanting competition very often are from diverse religious backgrounds. Because culturally, this is our heritage. If each one of us can remember just 5 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, 5 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, and spread it to the next generation. One thing, if there's familiarity, there will not be a fear. There will be not fear. The fear is of the unknown. Honestly, even though brought up by my grandmother with this knowledge, yet I never knew what Bhagavad Gita is. Many of you now have heard from Gurudev or from me or from Swami. You have heard. Therefore, you take it for granted. But even then, don't take it for granted. Learn these 5 verses as you go up, you'll be given, and you can also go on the QR code, learn it. We call it Gita Panchamrit. Panchamrit also, you offer, and then you take it as prasad. It's very nutritious. I think that's highly nutritious. So, these 5 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, yesterday, of course, very briefly I spoke. Let every Bharatiya learn these 5 verses. Not only these are 5 mantras that in every situation of your life you will find it motivating, guiding, helpful, and freeing you of stress and anxiety. But at least if they know it, they will inquire. If your mother didn't do the rituals, you wouldn't be even defying it. You would not be inquiring about it. And stop brushing off everything as religion. Thank God, our religion has a lot to give even today. That is relevant. Be proud. Proud doesn't mean that you are greater than anybody else. So the first instruction is na atmanam avasaditi. Don't look down upon yourself. You will not look down upon others. Those who look down upon themselves are so insecure that they will look down upon others. Therefore, the real essence for our life is there in these 5 verses. Call it the Gita Panchamrit. You can find it online. You'll be given those 5 verses, and that can inspire you to study the entire Bhagavad Gita and build your life and build the society's life with it. I'm telling you, the world It's not such a bad place.
Extra homework, I really could not ask any questions. As Swamiji, what is one truth about life that becomes clearer with age?
That comes.
Clearer with age, one truth about life that becomes clearer with age.
I was told today only health is more important than wealth.
That's a good one. And if you could speak to your younger self, what would you advise him to do more of or to change?
Whenever I think about my younger self, I always say, you should have gained this knowledge earlier.
It's never too late to start.
Well, I started very early and thank God, but even then I felt, why not before?
Thank you. And last question, what's one practical step we can all make to lead a more meaningful life?
Remember these 5 verses of the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, that's really our homework. So if you take anything away from today's conversation, final verses, exactly like you said. Oh, sorry, there's a question. Thank you. You don't have to do your homework.
Swamiji, kindly can you talk a little bit about karma, free will, and self-effort, particularly free will? There's some new research, again from the West, that talks about zero free will. It's some quantum level research. Thank you, Swamiji.
Well, if there is no free will, you wouldn't be asking this question. See, remember, where there is intellect, there is a choice. Where there is a choice, there is free will. You surrender the choice, yes, things will flow. But remember that as long as you have the intellect, you have a choice, you have free will. And therefore, when you say karma, karma is action. Result of action in the Sanskrit language is nothing but the cause that becomes the effect. Therefore, so that you don't think that destiny is some God written and your action is something else. It is your action that bearing result is your destiny. And therefore, since your destiny is created by you, you can change your destiny. So understand that karma means action. The result of karma is also called as karma, which is your destiny. But one secret that Vedanta teaches is how to end your destiny. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahini atma jnana pradhanina tasmai shri gurave namah. That person only can be called as Guru. And who is the teacher? You wanted to ask the question, no, I'm answering that also. But you forgot to ask. So, Guru is a teacher. Every field can require a teacher. That Guru is called as a spiritual teacher. That Guru is called as the teacher of truth. That Guru is called as Sri Guru. Not titles that people take up by Shivji. One who giving us the knowledge of ourselves and showing us that I am infinite, not a wanting person, therefore free of all doership, enjoyship, action, and hence all the results of our action. It's the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, which I'm telling you to memorize. Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishami ma shucha. So,
Any more questions?
the worship is only in this relative world. You and the relative world, you do your action, you reap the result of your action. Otherwise, God would be very unfair. Yeah?
Any more questions before we pass on to Orator? Yeah. Okay, we will open the class. Swamiji, this is the first question. When it applies to all my college roads, then how did you get the detachment to leave the family, and how do you feel then now when the mother longs for you, a relative might come from the past? What is the secret that gave you this power?
When I think, of course, everything you can say is God's grace, Guru's grace. But again, being brought up by my grandmother, who from childhood gave us this knowledge, the meaning of life and death, brought up by most loving family, and where there is love, in fact, I've been always telling all the mothers that there is a big difference between love and attachment. Love is free. Attachment is dependence. Attachment is selfish. Love is self-giving. I must say that we were brought up with so much love. Right? I think even my siblings have been the best of siblings. But we didn't have any attachments. No? Nobody clung to anybody, nobody demanded anything from anybody, neither our parents demanded from us, neither our siblings demanded anything from us. They gave us total freedom to make our choices, and therefore some of you only have told me that when you ask my mother, how did you let him go? To some she replied, I never heard it from some of you only, she never told me this. Then I know, I think I got my wisdom from my mother. So she said, it must be his sincerity that I was ready to let him go. She doesn't blame anyone. It must be his sincerity that I let him go. And I know, I thought it would be most difficult for mother to let go. Dad was always in service of the people. But the mother would difficult to let go. But my respect for motherhood, when as much as she was so affectionate towards us, the moment she knew that this is what I want to do, she was the one who said, and I will see that nobody stops you. So all I can say is, we were given the freedom. Father always said, we have given them the right values, we've given them the art of right thinking. Now leave them to make their choices or even to make their mistakes. So they gave us that freedom. Somebody asked my mother, that how did you let him go? Did you want him to have a family, etc.? She said that he left the next day my first son got married. And she said, I knew I'm handing over my son to the next generation. She's handing over to the wife, and that's every mother should do. That I'm handing over my one son to his wife. No? I'm handing over. He's no longer going to be mine. No? And if my son wants to go to serve the world, and my son wants to go to God, Why should I stop them? I'm not stopping going for a woman. Why should I stop them from going to God? So, since they gave us that freedom, I think I had that sense of freedom. And they made sure that once I make a choice, I don't turn back. That much confidence they gave me. Whatever may happen, do not turn back. This was the advice they gave me.
Yes, please, in the corner.
Thank you, Swamiji, for your wonderful sharing. And earlier you mentioned about the challenges that our younger generation faces, specifically uncertainty. And I sometimes feel like I meet friends, they go into depression, they go into anxiety, and you want to help them out, but then they just put themselves in isolation, like don't want to talk to you or just want to spend time alone. I mean, we can't really change their cultural upbringing, but is there a way we can help them?
Just don't give up on them. Because there'll be some time when they hit rock bottom and they will be ready to ask for help. First of all, don't allow yourself to fall into depression. Never get into that state of such hopelessness. But if there's someone in that, just let them know. Don't lecture them. Because sometimes they want to remain in their brooding. Just let them know that I am there. Whether you want to shed a tear, whether you want to speak, let them speak without lecturing them. Yeah? And I'm there whenever you need. If you tell me not to come to ask you also, I will not be there to ask you, but know that I am there. Even if you reject me, I am there. Just assure them, that's all. Then when they need help, they will come to you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
One more question to that.
Thanks, Swamiji, for the great evening. I have a question. It's about, again, the kids. When our kids are not interested or not willing to come to temple, do we need to force them?
See,
What's your advice?
See, temple also are in place. The children, as you know, want to know the reason for it, right? But I ask one question. They are not depends on the age that they are. Little children for love. That's how all our worship is made. You take them in Shishu Vihar, and then you see, take them to Bal Vihar, they love the altar. No. So, in fact, all our worship are made so musical, etc., that they will be fascinated. But as they grow up in school, again, these things about, I'm not religious, it's not trendy, therefore send them to Bal Vihar. Yeah? Now, if you force them to attend elaborate worships, which, because you've not taught them the language, they don't know, right? But still, if there's any family worship, tell me, how many of your children like going to school? Huh? How many of them like to go for piano lessons in the beginning? Yeah? How many of them even want to learn Bharatanatyam? That you will force. But other things you should not force. In fact, many elders from our generation, we were not forced. But the older generation, their parents said, now come and sit here, otherwise you'll get 2 raps. No. And then later on they say, that time we didn't find any meaning, but it made a difference. And our Pujya Gurudev is a beautiful example. He also was from some highly traditional families. And children even at that time, they had to sit for those elaborate, and in Kerala, pujas can be really elaborate. So, even the family pujas. But because he had to sit there, looking at the image, that he developed such a fascination, and children's minds are so beautiful, of visualization, of manifestation, of meditation, that he, looking at that form of Lord Shiva, not knowing that he was meditating. So please do take your children. Yeah. But at the same time, be sympathetic as to where and how much. But do take them to temples, however short visits may be. Celebrate their birthdays by taking them to the temple, then blowing off candles. At least let them go and light one lamp rather than blow up candles out. No? So if you do that from the beginning, whatever you do with them for childhood, there's a time in teenage where they get inhibited, they even start revolting. But as I always say, these youngsters, when they have children, they're going to bring their children, which has happened. So, force them means not in the sense, but do keep taking them to the temple, do take them for some worshipes which are not going to be too long for them that they'll get bored. Take them to that. Now today, really speaking, what is becoming so popular is bhajan jamming. So don't think our youngsters are useless, as Gurudev said, they're only used less. So, don't take that seriously, and don't think that, oh, we have forced them and everything else, and this we should not force them. Gentle push is required for everything with the children, even to brush their teeth. Is it not? Even to get up in the morning. So why not here also? That gentle, loving push is required. Yeah? Now I think we should conclude because there are people who want to go home.
Yes.
But I have one more thing to tell you. This year, being the 75th year of Chinmaya Mission, and practically everyone I'm seeing here has some way or the other glimpse benefited from Chinmaya Mission. I invite you for a great grand celebration. It's going to be spiritual, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be experiential. 3 days, just 3 days. You can go to Bangkok for people's wedding, games, that you'll have the time. And of course, if it is now in the Middle East, where you have fireworks, there also you will go. I insist. The invitations have to be given with insistence, then it is genuine. That all of you come for these 3 days, if nothing else, to express your gratitude and solidarity. Pujya Swami Swaroopananda, whose work still influences our people of Hong Kong. Your children, your grandchildren, and great-grandchildren do come. So come for that and benefit from it. 23rd, 24th, 25th, direct flight to Delhi in an environment where there is no pollution at that time. In Bharat Mandapam, that is where the G20 took place, one of the best convention centers. Come there and experience what this great man's work, of which only a glimpse that we have seen in Hong Kong, which is also so grand. Come and see around the world what the Chinmaya family is doing. Be inspired. And if you can be part of that inspiration in your life, like I felt, life will be even more beautiful, meaningful. So please do come. Come with your families. There's a program for children, youth, and even exhibitions, not just static exhibitions, experiential. Plenty of things are going to be there. Some Grammy Award winners are going to be presenting certain things. Plus, Guruji, Swami Tejomanji is going to be there. There's going to be plenty of things, so I don't have great surprises for you. But please, all of you, do come. Yeah. In Hong Kong, we're not used to excuses. We demand. Come for my daughter's wedding, come for my son's wedding, come for my wedding anniversary. Can you imagine? Not many of you will be celebrating 75th wedding anniversary, right? So here's your chance to see what 75th anniversary means. So do come. I invite all of you. It's all available on the website. If you go onto our Instagram, etc., you will find it. And do register today itself. Make up your mind, you will be there. October, sorry, if it didn't say. 23rd, 24th, 25th October, starting from morning of 23rd, not very early morning, but 9 o'clock in the morning. All food, everything will be provided to the best of, India's food and Indians. So will be provided, everything will be there, and wherever you can find the accommodation to your, level of accommodation that you want, we have given all that on the website. Please do come. And as you go out, please take the prasad of the Gita Panchamrit. And enjoy. No, this is between Dasera and Diwali. Diwali is on 8th of November. But I would like 1 minute. Neha, Orator? Yes. Many of you will be curious about our university. Neha Bhuta has come. She's our secretary of the Vishwavidyapeeth, Chinmaya Mission Worldwide Trust and Partnership Management. So, just a few words you can tell them about the university, another huge, vast project by Chinmaya Mission.
Great. So by the year 2050, who do you think will be more successful? One who's mastered AI or one who's mastered their life? Recently, I was at a strategy session with big business leaders from all over the world, and we asked them a simple question. What do you really want to see in your graduates? Now, I thought they were going to say things like AI or coding or technical skills, but they didn't. They said things like values, integrity, honesty, loyalty. In other words, what they were looking for was character. And I guess that makes sense, because more than what we know, it's who we are that really matters. And this is why Chinmaya University exists. So let's just take a look at education today. It's filled with kind of paradoxes. So yes, it teaches me skills, but does it teach me about life? Yes, it may give me information, but does it give me a vision or a purpose to live by? And yes, it may teach me how to compete, but does it really make me complete? And the answers to those questions are sadly no. Based on some of the questions we've also had in the audience. Depression, suicide. I was talking to a teacher the other day who said a year 2 student is on antidepressant pills. Now something is clearly not right. Swami Swaroopananda, decades and eons ago, realized the actual true purpose of education is self-transformation. And this is exactly why at Chinmaya University, before asking what type of careers do you want, we ask who do you really want to become? So yes, let me get a few facts out of the way. We are a government-registered university. We offer official degrees in really cool courses like AI, robotics, and psychology. We have an MBA program. We have PhD students. And the list of those courses is only going to keep growing and growing. But we also do 3 other really cool things that globally I don't think is done anywhere else. Number 1, we prepare students for life. And that is through Q&A sessions like this with our Chancellor, who is Pujya Swami Swaroopananda. All of our students know the Gita Panchamrit, so please learn it ASAP. They also know the meaning. They have meditation classes, yoga classes, and the list really goes on. Number 2, they don't just study, but they serve. Now, which one of you can say in your university degree you ran an anti-drug drive across 500 schools in the country, or set up literacy clinics, or spent time with students who really needed it? Well, our students can definitely say that. And number 3, we really bring our time-tested, beautiful Indian knowledge, wisdom into contemporary education. So our classes aren't just super cool, they're super, super cool. So for example, you have management techniques from the modern world, but you also have what the Bhagavad Gita teaches about management. You've got coding and AI, but you also learn it alongside Sanskrit grammar rules of quantity. You have psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, but you also have what Patanjali's Yoga Sutra said about the mind and resilience. All this does a couple of really cool things. 1, it gives you pride in your culture. 2, it makes you realize your unlimited potential. And 3, it really just gives you a different vision of life. Now, if you don't believe me, let me tell you a story about Shashi Rekha. She came to CVV, a shy, diffident girl, not really knowing what she wanted to do. At the university, instead of giving her a little textbook, we gave her a little intellectual playground and a sanctuary for her mind. She, through that, discovered that robotics was her thing. So, she took on the robotics course. She, of course, got amazing grades. She set up the second chapter in India of the Institute of Electric and Electronic Engineering. Such a mouthful to say for me. She also represented our university in Singapore and China in the underwater autonomous vehicle exhibition. And went on to do many more things. Successful, right? Yes. But when I asked Shashi Rekha what she loved most about CVV and what makes her most proud, she didn't mention any of these things. None. She instead said to me, I love the fact that I learned Sanskrit grammar rules because that's what made me a successful coder. I love the fact that I could learn the Bhagavad Gita because it gave me more clarity and decision making. I love the fact that I, at Infosys, when I interned there, made a project that benefited society. And I love the fact that I could just talk about my life and purpose with other fellow and really great mentors such as Swamiji at the university. Now, this is just an example of what investing in this particular university and Pujya Gurudev's vision can really do. And this is just one story about 2000. Now, if you still don't believe me after Shashi Rekha's story, please, after the October celebrations, come join us at the university where Swami Swaroopananda will be there. He's holding a really cool camp called Meditations from the Upanishads. And we will also get a chance to see the beautiful campus, interact with the students, and you can also get your own Indian knowledge systems immersion experience, which is very cool. So I really end tonight by saying, please join me in this really powerful education movement, which is not just creating smart students, but steadfast students. It's not just creating skillful students, but selfless students. And it's not just creating successful students, but spiritual students. Hari Om, thank you.
Okay. I know that we've gone over a little bit, so I'm going to try and be quick. Just a final conclusion and a few announcements. First of all, thank you so much, Swami Swaroopananda, for your wit, your humor, for inspiring us here in Hong Kong, your home, our home, and you know, just being able to share all your wisdom and your knowledge. We're so grateful. Also, thank you to Divya. Thank you for moderating with such grace and clarity. I have a few other thank yous, so just bear with me. Thank you to the team that organized today. Thank you for your dedication. You know, there is a team behind all of the events that Chinmaya Hong Kong does, so you know, they go out of their way effortlessly, so thank you. Thank you to Club Lusitano. It's a beautiful venue for a nice Friday night fireside chat, I'm sure you'll agree. But the best part is Swamiji is still here. He's here this weekend. So, yeah, don't go anywhere. Tomorrow is our big celebratory event. This is when we get to commemorate 75 years of Chinmaya Mission here in Hong Kong. So it's the Maha Hanuman Chalisa Yagna, and it's going to be in West Kowloon. I'm sure you've seen all the marketing. We'll be chanting 11 times. And this is especially powerful because we're going to have over 1,000 people gathered. I don't know, was it 1,500 people chanting the Hanuman Chalisa together. So the vibration of that, the grace, the collective benefit for all of us will be so, so incredibly immense. Please join us. It's not too late to book tickets. Really, it's going to be magical. Not only is it going to help us to increase our devotion, it's going to help us have stronger and steadier minds and also purify our hearts. All the stuff that Swamiji was talking about today, and I can attest to this myself, the Hanuman Chalisa is incredibly powerful, even if you don't understand what it means. Just say it. Trust me. On Sunday, we also have another opportunity similar to the spirit of today, where we can interact with Swamiji in an even more informal setting for a chat and chill. So you're all welcome to join us in the ashram on Sunday, 4 o'clock, where we can ask Swamiji some questions and spend time with him. Just another quick point, for those of us that do want to go deeper, Swamiji's already told you about the celebrations in October, and every year from Christmas time to New Year, we also have a program in Vibhuti. It's a camp that Swamiji does every year, and this year he'll be taking up the Hanuman Chalisa in depth. Other years, of course, he's done many other texts, the Gita chapters and Upanishads. Swamiji, as you know, has also done the Make It Happen program, so if you are interested, please get in touch with our volunteers at the back. They can tell you more about that. Swamiji's on social media, so you can follow his social media handles. And if you do need any other information, please reach out to any of our volunteers at the back. Just the last thing, obviously, knowledge is priceless, but in the spirit of Guru Dakshina, which is part of our culture, we do have some envelopes at the back if you'd like to make a donation so that we can continue to do this work, Chinmaya Mission across the world. That would be really great. Any amount is welcome. The envelopes are at the back. Please take that along with the Gita Panchapit cards for Prasad. Thank you all very much. Thank you, and have a lovely evening. Hari Om.